Hi, this is Rich Lavens of Eurotherm by Watlow, and today we are going to be working with a Eurotherm 3200 series FM high limit. Specifically, this is the 3216, but there are other DIN sizes available. And one of the things we need to look at is on the side of the unit, you can see the second field is FM. The FM has to be there or it's not FM approved for that use. So many times people will buy an indicator and you can set up relays for different functions, but an FM unit has to be stamped FM. Anyway, we're going to reset this unit. You don't have to do this, but if you've got a unit and nobody knows exactly what the settings were put in there and you want to reset it, this is the procedure. So page key, enter key, down and up arrows. So we're going to hold down the page key, just keep holding it down. When I go to level 3, then we're going to quickly up arrow and go to config. And now it's going to ask for a passcode, and that passcode is 4. So we've now entered config. So to reset this, we're going to hit the page key a few times until we get to the access mode there. We're going to enter, and you're going to see a few parameters in here. So here's the level 2 passcode, the level 3 passcode, but we're going to toggle all the way through these until we get to this parameter called cold. So if you wait a second, it will actually scroll cold start. And in this case, this is how we reset the instrument back to factory default. So we're going to hit yes and enter. And we're going to enter down till we get to access again. And then we're going to hold that page key down and go to level 1. You can either wait or hit enter, but it'll restart. And it comes up with our quick code. So the quick code is a quick way to get an instrument with just a few keystrokes. So first we're going to see, we're going to hit the enter key, and digit 1 starts flashing. So digit 1 is our sensor type. So we're going to set that up for a K. Enter. Digit 2 is our units. So we got Kelvin, Fahrenheit, so forth. We want to leave it in Fahrenheit for my example. Enter. Digit 3 is our decimal point. So you can have 1, 2, 3, so forth. We're going to leave this in 0. We're going to skip the 4th digit. The 5th digit is how we want the display to look. So there's going to be a piece of paper that comes with all these controllers that'll explain what each parameter and setting within the parameter is. But I know in my case, I want to set that up for number 1, which will have my process value on the top and my alarm set point on line 2. We can set up our range here. So a type K, say I don't want 2502, I can hit my up or down buttons, but we'll make this a more reasonable range. The longer you hold the button, the faster it goes. So we'll set it up for 2100 on the high end. On the low end, it's minus 328. That's pretty low for a type K. So we'll set that to 0. We're good. Now we move to set 2. I'm not setting this digit up. This is the one I wanted to show you. So this one is your alarm type. So I want my high limit alarm to be a high alarm. And then this is output number 2. So on the back of this H gets assigned here, AA, AB, and AC. That is the FM alarm output you're going to want to tie to. If I assign another alarm, which is I'm here, so number 2, now I've just assigned that to output 2A and 2B. FM alarm relay, dedicated, 2A and 2B is not the FM alarm. So for your safety shutdown, you do not want to tie to those two, but you can use them for other things. And then finally, we're going to exit. Okay, so we're back to run. If you want to go in and tweak this a little further, we can use iTools or through the front panel, but I'm going to run through the front panel real quick. So, in levels 1, 2, and 3, the outputs are active and the controller will be operating. Whenever you're in config level, it kills the outputs as a safety, so just something to be aware of. So I'm going to go back into config mode. So we're going to hold the page key down again. Hold it till level 3, up arrow real quick to get into config, code 4. So if I hit my page key, first thing I get to is my input. To enter that, we're going to hit the enter key. There's the thermocouple we just set up. Units, there's my decimal point, my range. So everything we set up in the quick code is there. If you're doing calibration, the process value offset is also under there. So again, if you want to put in a plus or minus 2, depending on signal loss, that's where you do it. Filter time, so I'm not going to run through all these, but we're going to hit that. Next one is IO1. So on my car, or my current one, IO1 is 1A and 1B. So I'll hit enter. So I've got a DC output there. When I hit again, what do I want that to do? So in my case, I set this up for process value retransmission. And I'm not going to go through and set that, but it'll output a 4 to 20, and then I can give it a low and high range. So we're going to hit enter again. There's output 2. 2A and 2B. That is a relay. So again, it's a physical relay. I can't change it. A relay is what it is. Enter. What do I want this thing to do? So I can do no function at all, or a digital output, a binary high or low. So that's what I want. Enter again. In this case, I can do a couple different things. If I have 2 alarm set points, or 2 alarms, I can tie alarm 2 to really anything. But in my case, I set this up for a high. If I want to set it to the same as my FM relay, I can set it to look at alarm 1. If I don't, I can do alarm 2 or 3 or whatever. So all alarms. So there's different things I can do with that. So let's go back in and we're going to set that up. Relay. My function is I want to tie it to the same as the FM alarm. Enter. And again, we'll just leave the rest as none. That's output 2. Here's AA. This is the FM alarm right here. So on this one, when I hit enter, it's a relay. Again, can't change it. It is what it is. It's a digital output. It is tied to alarm number 1. I can't change that. Again, that is the FM component, or the FM regulation. Alarm 1 is tied to that relay. Nothing you can do about it. That's really about it for that one. Page. Here's the actual alarm. So alarm 1 is a high. We set that up in the quick code. I can do a high or a low, so you got to be a little careful. But we want it as a 1. Here, alarm 1 high, this is our threshold. Run 240. Enter. This is our status. It is on. This is our hysteresis or deadband. Manual. So, again, this is another one of those FM criteria. To meet FM standards, it has to be a manually latching relay. We cannot change that. There's alarm blocking. We can tie an alarm to that, or a timer to that. Offset. So here's alarm 2. So again, we have alarm 2 set to high. We can raise or lower the set point. But on alarm 2, we can have it auto latch, manual latch. We can set it up as an event. So the only one you're really tied to a manual latch is alarm 1. The other ones you can set up for different functions. So again, if I wanted to tie output 2A and 2B to that second alarm, I would have to come back around, IO2, there's our relay. It is a digital out. I don't want it tied to 1 anymore. So I can say no. And now, source B, that's the second one. Now I can say, now I'm tied to the second alarm. So again, the FM is always on AA, AB, AC. Other alarms you can mix and match between different alarm set points and whatnot. So anyway, I'm going to move over to iTools real quick and show you how you would do this in iTools. So let's do that. So now we're going to look at iTools here real quick. So we're going to come down here. I'll open my iTools folder. So in iTools right here, you want to pick the iTools Engineering Studio. And it'll open up. And then we're going to hit the scan button up here. And we'll scan for all devices. And should go out and find the instrument pretty quick. So we have now found it. Up here in the upper left, it's communicating. It's synchronizing that controller right now. Can't do much with it until it's synchronized. When it's done, you'll see you'll get, it's supposed to mimic what looks like an instrument, but it looks like a blue cube. So we are now live. If I open my, there's different things. Parameter Explorer, device panel mimics the front, but I want to start with the terminal wiring. So the terminal wiring is the back of the controller. So there's our FM relay. Here's our sensor input. In my case, I've got a DC output on 1A and 1B, and 2A and 2B are a relay. And then you may or may not have communications or a middle board here. So I'm going to show you something kind of cool here. In this annotated diagram, if I click on this tab, then I can click on whatever terminal I want. I can put in a little comment down here. So in this case, we're going to put FM output relay. It's a limited character set. When I hit enter or tab, it puts a little label there. That works really good for brief descriptions, works really good for wire numbers. Over here, I can just call this alarm number 2. Oops, alarm number 2. And then here, I can do PV retrans. So again, you can label that however you want. And then if you right-click anywhere on the screen, you can copy and print that, and it's really nice. You can throw that into your work folder and just have it kind of follow along with your work. Anyway, we're going to come back to our Parameter Explorer. So up here with the quick code, this is what we set up. So if you look, anything in blue font is read-only. Anything in black is read-write. Depending on your access level up here, that will change. So let's log into engineer mode. Now, one thing to be aware of, in levels 1, 2, and 3 of this controller, all Eurotherm controllers actually, the controller will continue to monitor the process, control the process. But the minute I enter configuration level, the outputs are not working anymore as a safety. So again, now I can go in and change that. So here's everything we did kind of live on the instrument. So I'm not going to run through that again. If I come over here, here's the folder. So let's go to IO1. There's that DC output we set up for process retransmission. Here's output 2. So this gives a little bit better visual than punching it in on the unit itself. So we have a relay. It is a digital out. I can tie this to alarm 2, which could be a completely different set point than alarm 1, or I could shut that off and tie it back to alarm 1, which is the FM alarm set point. Again, I think this makes it a little bit clearer. Next, we'll go to AA. That is the FM relay. So again, it is a relay. It's tied to digital 1, or excuse me, digital output, and it's tied to alarm 1. If I try to assign a different output to it, it will not let me because it is dedicated to alarm 1. So I just wanted to show you that. This one has a logic input across LA. So go back to my terminal wiring. Here's LA. So I can have alarm acknowledged. So what I can do there is I can put a contact closure across those two, and once the alarm is cleared, you're back within process. Process is okay. I could have an external push button acknowledge that alarm. So we'll come back here. When I get to my alarm folder, again, here's the alarm. Alarm 1 up here, that's the FM alarm. It's always going to be tied to that AA, AB, AC relay. Here's the threshold in which it'll trip. We set that up for 240 at the instrument. And that's really about it. If I want to set up a second alarm, here's where I do it. And again, you can do a low, a high, a rate of change, but we'll leave a second alarm. So sometimes it's common that maybe you want an alarm, an alarm to trigger before the FM actually kicks out. So we had that FM at 250, so we could do something like this. At 240, I want to trigger an alarm. So again, maybe buzz a buzzer, light a light, get somebody's attention before we actually get to 250. So it's kind of like an alarm before the FM trips. So we just set that up. And if I want to assign that to that output 2, now I can come back to output 2. Again, still in the parameter explorer. We're going to come to output 2. Except here, now I can tie that to the second alarm. So now that alarm would trip prior to the FM alarm. So again, there's some options there, however you want to set that up. Just depends on your process. I think that is really it. We'll scroll down here a little bit further. There's the quick code that we set up earlier, again, through the front buttons. On these cells, anything that you don't know within iTools, like what is this, quick set 1? If there's, I just grabbed a different cell. So there's a little help menu built in. So there's a piece of paper that comes with every controller that explains this, but you can also see what those fields are through iTools. And then lastly, if we go to access, there's that same thing. So I could quick start this or cold start this either through the instrument panel, or if I come here and change that to yes, it would restart the instrument again, and we'd come back up with the quick code and go through that whole procedure again, which I do not want to do here. And then lastly, remember, I'm in iTools or I'm in the instrument in config level. I have to get out of that or the outputs are going to be silenced, basically. It will not work. So I'm going to toggle the access mode, which puts me back into a run mode, and that instrument should take off and start working. Hope you find this valuable, but drop us an email or give your local regional manager or distributor a call, and we would be happy to help you. Thanks so much. Bye.